Hey traders, thanks for waiting. Once again, this is Omar from MotiveWave. Welcome to the second webinar of 2024. Let's switch over slides. Okay, so today's title is going to be Discovering Market Secrets, Enhance Your Trading with Liquidity Zones with Dr. Daniel Sinnig from Trading Indicators. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to attend today. Today's presentation with Dr. Daniel will be approximately an hour long. If you make it to the end of today's webinar, we will be throwing up a poll where everyone here can decide on the topic and guest host for our next webinar. All right, let's switch over to our next slide. Please take a moment to take a look at our disclaimer before we begin. All right, now that we got quite a few people joining in, Dr. Daniel, welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going? All right, so should I take it away?
Yeah, it's totally up to you.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey guys, so here's my face. Welcome everyone, also from my side to this, I think, very exciting webinar. And as you can see, I am greeting you from a very bright spot. It is actually our headquarters here in downtown Montreal. So similar to MotiveWave, we are also a Canadian company. And perhaps this explains some of the amazing connection that we've had with MotiveWave over the years. And I'm super excited, guys, to show you our latest innovation for MotiveWave. And I think you're gonna enjoy it, how it can be used to enhance your trading. So let me quickly share my screen. Let's see if that works. Omar, you need to enable screen sharing for me, if that's possible.
Sure.
All right.
Just give me one moment. I'll actually make you the host as well.
I should already be host, I think. Maybe not. Ah, there we go. Okay, awesome. Okay, perfect. So please confirm that you can see my screen. And once that's confirmed, we're going to get started. Perfect. All right. Thank you, guys. I see it in the chat. Thanks for confirming that you can see my screen. Perfect. All right, guys. So today's topic is on, on discovering market secrets. It perhaps sounds a little bit, cryptic, but it is not. And actually, we have discovered something that was crucial to our trading success, that trading is indeed simple, but you need to know what to look for. What are the important levels and areas on the price chart that have significance? And once you know which areas do have significance and which ones don't, you will be able to make much clearer trading decisions, and therefore, increasing your chances of trading success. It can happen, but let's get started. But before we get into today's topic, I'd like to say something. First of all, I'd like to say thank you, MotiveWave. So MotiveWave has been our very first platform that we developed indicators for. And this dates now back almost 10 years. And we've actually started off, we are tradingindicators.com, and our specialty is to create innovative trading products and innovative trading indicators. And MotiveWave has been the very first platform. And over the years, our 10 years history, we have programmed numerous custom trading indicators for various clients, for trading educators, for retail clients, for institutions, even for the MotiveWave platform on request. We've also educated people on how to program indicators for MotiveWave, because our background is in software engineering. My personal background is, I wanted to become a researcher in software engineering. So I did my master's, my PhD, my postdoc in software engineering. And so I have a very deep background in programming. And we've used this knowledge to educate people who were interested in how to program for MotiveWave. But over the years, we have changed gears a little bit, and we are now primarily a vendor for our own trading products. So we are on the MotiveWave marketplace. If you check it out here, support.motivewave.com/marketplace. If you scroll down a little bit, you will see our key products that we are currently offering for MotiveWave. And just to give you a couple of examples of what this can be, for example, is we do have developed a strategy builder for MotiveWave, which looks like this, where you can click together your own fully automated strategies without any programming knowledge. So you may, define your own conditions, like let's say the RSI needs to be overbought, and MA crossover must happen, and MACD condition must happen, and you can click together all these conditions, and then you can also define what should be the actions that should happen when these conditions become true. For example, enter into a long trade, close a trade, go short, and so forth. So this is our strategy builder, which we have, I think, released about 2 or 3 years ago. And it's one of a kind. So we're the only ones who have developed such a strategy builder for MotiveWave. We've also done an extensive development work where we converted most of Thinkorswim's built-in studies to MotiveWave. These are more than 300 studies. And the objective here was to help Thinkorswim users make the transition to MotiveWave. So this is an extensive work, also available on the marketplace, more than 300 studies. You can see some of the examples here. And these are all original Thinkorswim studies, which we have ported to MotiveWave. We've also created our own innovative indicators. For example, the Power Bundle 360, which is a suite of 3 indicators which come with very innovative features such as win rate prediction. So we're using AI to predict the odds of winning your next trade. And also we have built in an auto optimization feature, which will find the best parameters for you automatically. So you don't have to, play around with the period parameter or the look back parameter and so forth. The indicator will do it all for you on demand. So these are some of the products that we have on the MotiveWave marketplace. But today's talk will be on our latest innovation, which is called the Liquidity IQ indicator, which is then also complemented by our Emi Rush indicator. And here you can see a little bit of a preview of what this indicator or these indicators will show you on the chart, and why these indications, these levels, these labels, these signals are important. We're going to discover together in this talk. So please stay tuned. All right, now a few more words about us. So we are tradingindicators.com, and my name is Daniel Sinnig, as Omar has already said. So thanks, Omar, for the nice introduction. But we are actually a team. So in our team, we also have Homa. Homa has been my sidekick for almost 20 years. Now she's we've went to grad school together here in Montreal. Well, we are both studying computer science. So we were lab mates for many, many years, and we have engaged in numerous businesses together, including tradingindicators.com. And Homa has become now our marketing and UX specialist, ensuring that all our products, they are intuitively usable and show you the information which are actually essential for your trading. But we also have Nicholas. So Nicholas is sitting right next to me here in our beautiful office. And he has been the mastermind behind most of our programming work for MotiveWave. So for example, he has created the strategy builder for MotiveWave, which I mentioned previously. So we are tradingindicators.com, and over the years, we have built more than 700 trading indicators, fully automated strategies, trading dashboards, trading scanners for various clients. We have clients all over the world, retail clients, institutions, trading educators. And it's been quite an exciting journey. And, we do believe very heavily in teamwork, not just among ourselves, but also with our trading community. We have a vibrant trading community. We have webinars every week where we engage everyone, where we give everyone the chance to ask questions, where you can learn tips and tricks, where we give you our take on the market. And it's been really fun to being able to build this community together. All right. So, and there are two things really that we strongly believe in. The first thing is that we do believe very strongly in technical analysis. And because of today's market efficiencies, we believe that fundamental information is immediately priced into the chart. And by doing or performing a technical analysis of your chart, you will indirectly also take into account fundamental information. So this is one strong belief that we have. The other belief is that trading should be simple. And you know what? Trading is simple if you know what to look for, if you can distinguish the noise from areas which have actually significance. And this is what this talk is all about. I'm going to teach you what we believe are the important areas on your price chart to focus on. Then we're also going to show you a tool, an indicator, which will highlight these important areas automatically for you. All right, guys, so please stay tuned for that. But before we get started, of course, I have to remind you that trading does contain substantial risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is capital that should you lose it, it will not affect your lifestyle. When it comes to hypothetical performance or backtest performance, or really anything based on historical data, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance. All right, so now that the lawyers are happy, let's get into it. So this is what we have planned for today. So we're going to do a bit of education first, where I'm going to explain to you that every chart, no matter what it is, if it's the 1 minute chart, the 5 minute chart, a Renko chart, and daily chart, they all have landmarks. They all have important areas where, price does certain things around these areas. So we're going to look at these. Then we're going to look at our brand new Liquidity IQ indicator and some of the trade setups that can be spotted with this indicator. And towards the end, there will be plenty of time for Q&A and any requests that you may have. And please, if you have already some questions lined up, don't be shy. Put them, please, into the Q&A section of Zoom or into the chat section. And Nicholas and Homer, they will keep an eye on that, and they will let me know if there's anything pertinent coming up, which I should address immediately. Otherwise, there will be plenty of time towards the end of this presentation to answer all your questions. All right, guys, so without further ado, let's get started. So about a year ago, we've made an observation. In fact, we had more of an idea at the time. And the idea was that, we've seen certain areas on every chart where price is doing certain things. And oftentimes what we noticed was that around these areas, we call these landmarks, price seems to be magnetically drawn to. It's very strange, like a magnet. Price was just going to these landmarks on the chart. We were wondering, first of all, we were wondering, how come these landmarks exist? What is the reason for that? And secondly, we thought, now since we know where these areas are, why don't we see if we can profit from that, if we can identify some trade setups which are likely to be taken around these areas on the price chart. So that was the observation that we had. Now, but let me lead on to that. Let me lead up to this actually. So first of all, you may have seen this before, that, charts can be quite unpredictable. So you may think here at this point in time where my mouse is, oh yeah, we are in a nice uptrend. Price has been falling through, making higher lows, higher highs. But, shortly after, price reversed into a downtrend, which then reversed again into an uptrend. So this seems to be seemingly completely unpredictable. How can we possibly trade around that? And this actually gets even worse if we look at these smaller time frames. For example, on a 5 minute chart, things seem to be even worse, even more unpredictable, even more erratic. You can see it here. But let me make one observation. I think many traders have made the same observation as well. Once you start zooming out, going to a larger time frame, things tend to become a bit clearer. So for example, here on the 4-minute chart, things are not as erratic anymore, as crazy as we had on the 5-minute. And this was one important observation. And you will see later on, this will become important to identify the important areas on the chart. So first takeaway is, once you zoom out, once you move to higher time frames, things tend to become a bit clearer. Please keep that in mind for the remainder of this presentation. All right. Now, I've mentioned landmarks. So landmarks are areas of price where, certain things are happening. And these landmarks can be established through various events. For example, they could be established by a historical high that was made. So just recently, we had Bitcoin, for example, we're going to look at Bitcoin a bit later, made a historical high. It went to an all-time high. So this can be a landmark. Price went to a level where it was never before. But a landmark can also be established, for example, by price pivoting around the same area. For example, here in this, where my mouse is, price went down to this area multiple times. It was revisited a few times over and over again. And the interesting thing about these landmarks is that there is a high chance that they will be revisited by price in the future. So for example, here, this historical high down the road in the future was revisited. Price approached it again. Same with these this area here of pivot lows. It was revisited later on in the future. And this was, an eye-opener for us. Wow, there seems to be a certain significance to these areas so that price will go back to these areas in the future. Now, these landmarks are typically or oftentimes referred to as support and resistance zones, a term I'm sure that you have heard all before. And it's really not a new concept, but the way we are identifying these landmarks is quite unique. But let's zoom out a little bit. Let's do a little bit more theory. Now, typically, how are these zones of support and resistance created? Well, if you go back to fundamentals, what's happening inside the market internals is that, a zone of resistance is created by excess supply. So supply exceeds demand, which in turn prevents price from going any higher. This is a zone of resistance. Price will not go any higher. Or conversely, when we have excess demand exceeds supply, this will create a support zone, which will prevent price from going any lower. Support and resistance. All right, and we can spot these zones. If we look at the price chart, these zones oftentimes are fairly easily visible. For example, here for the support zone, you see it here, price swung down and then up again. It revisited this zone again and swung up. And here we have another swing point over and over again. This is a clear zone of support where demand exceeds supply. Or conversely, for the opposite case, we can see these swing points to the top where price went up, then moved down again, and went up and moved down again. These are clear indications that supply exceeds demand. An area of resistance has been created. And oftentimes, another observation that we've made is we not only have these swing points, but oftentimes these swing points are accompanied by higher than average volume. And this is due to the fact that at these areas, big money sell orders and the resistance case are stepping in. These orders are, they are sent by the big players, the institutions, the culprits who have the buying power to send in these big orders, preventing price from moving any further into the upside direction in the case of resistance. So these are the big players stepping in, the culprits, the institutions who have the buying power to send in these big block orders. Now, so we are retail traders primarily, so we don't have the buying power to create these levels. The institutions will call these shots, they will establish these levels. But what we can do as retail traders, we can identify these levels and then follow the patterns, trade around them, take advantage of these levels established by these institutions, by these big players. This is exactly what this presentation will be all about. Now, real quick, typically these support and resistance areas where we have excess volume, excess liquidity, are known as liquidity zones. And they're called like this because this is where the big players, the culprits, this is where they want to get their big orders filled because of excess liquidity, because of above average liquidity. This is where they can get them filled in the first place. All right. Now, we cannot call these areas, we cannot create them, but we can trade around them. And if we are able to spot these zones, we can find very promising trade setups. Let me give you a quick taste, and then we're going to go to the price chart in just a second. Now, here we have one such area here at the bottom. You see this little reddish area. This is a support zone. As the name suggests, support is a zone where price may have difficulty going or breaking through, going further to the downside. It's support. And the trade setup that is very common around support zones is what we call the bounce trade, where price moves towards support, cannot penetrate it. We have excess volume. We have these liquidity captures here. I'm going to explain this concept in a second, and price will bounce off from it. A beautiful setup. One of my favorite ones, because in such a setup, we can put our stop very nearby, just below the support zone, in the anticipation that price will not be able to penetrate it and bounce into the upwards direction instead. Beautiful setup. Here's another example. We call this the zone break setup. Zones or support zones or resistance zones, they don't last forever. Eventually, they will be broken. Like everything, nothing lasts forever. They will be broken. But when such a zone break happens, oftentimes it has a strong follow through. We call this the zone break trade, where a zone is eventually broken. And once this happens, there might be a big follow through. And of course, we as traders, we can take advantage of this observation. So this is the zone break trade. And one more example, again, one of my favorite ones is the retrace trade. Here we have a zone that was broken. This resistance zone was broken to the upside. And I'm sure you've heard it all before. Resistance can become support, and support can become resistance. And this is exactly what we're seeing here. A resistance zone was broken. Price moved above this resistance zone. And once broken, it will act as support. And look what happened here. Price broke out. It retraced back to this level, which now acts as support, and then price moved again in the direction of the initial breakout. Beautiful trade, a very profitable or very nice trade setup, because again, it allows us to put our stop loss very nearby with very little risk on the table, but the upside potential is enormous. Again, one of my favorite setups. All right, so you may ask yourself the question now, all right, this is all nice and dandy, but how can we spot these zones? Well, it can be done manually. It will take quite an effort because you have to find these areas of support and resistance, which are also volume significant, where we have above average volume, above liquidity. Well, it can be done manually, but we thought, because we are engineers by heart, anything that sounds tedious or something that perhaps a tool can be doing better than us humans, well, we shouldn't be doing as humans. So this is why we have developed an indicator, which is called Liquidity IQ, which is designed to spot exactly these zones of significance, these liquidity zones. So the indicator is called Liquidity IQ. It is available for MotiveWave. It works beautifully for MotiveWave. And what it really is, it is your charting assistant, because it will do an instant technical analysis of your price chart. It will highlight everything that is of importance, such as where are my nearby resistance and support zones? Has a zone break occurred? Where was the latest liquidity capture? An advanced concept, which I will explain in a bit. It will show you this immediately when applied to the price chart. And this is very helpful. This is an indicator which we use every single day in our own trading. And this is the indicator which we apply to the price chart all the time, because it will give us immediate context of what is going on. It will give our minds clarity, because we have all this context now. And a clear mind will be able to make clear trading decisions. And typically, these clear trading decisions are the best ones you can take, because you have a clear story about what's going to happen and you can trade around that. And this is what you want as a trader. All right, so lots of talking. Let's switch over to the price chart onto MotiveWave. So let me drag this in. And guys, if you have questions, please don't be shy. Put them into the Q&A or chat box. So I'm going to switch over to my MotiveWave. Just find it real quick. I'm going to drag it in. Oops. 1 second. Disappeared. There we go. Let me make this a bit bigger. Alrighty. So here we have MotiveWave on the price chart. I'm just going to quickly change the color scheme. It's a bit, yeah. All right. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So this is, what do we have here? We have the gold futures contract on the 5-minute time frame. This is GC. And I'm going to show you many different examples and what comes. But let me tell you right off the bat that this indicator will work with any asset class, be it futures, be it stocks, be it FX or crypto, no problem. And it will also work on any chart type and time frame. So even though I may focus a bit more on the smaller time frames today, it will work on the larger ones as well. Okay, so what are we seeing here? So this is gold on the 5-minute time frame, and I have applied our Liquidity IQ indicator to the chart. You can see it here. And right off the bat, when applied, you will see that the indicator will highlight to you where are the nearby support and resistance zones. And this is actually something we looked at this morning when we analyzed the market of our group, and what we saw, that price was approaching this lower level here, which is acting as support. It's the support zone. And remember, what is likely to happen at a support zone? Well, price may have difficulty moving further downwards. A beautiful setup, because oftentimes we see exactly what happened here this morning. Price will not be able to penetrate the zone, but instead it will bounce off from it. And you can, trade accordingly. What you could do as a trader, you could simply enter into a long trade as price, comes near the support zone in the anticipation the price will bounce off from it. And the beauty about this is that your stop loss is going to be super nearby, just below the zone, around this area here. This is exactly where you would put it. It will not always work out. Of course, sometimes these zones are broken, but oftentimes it does work out. And if it does, you have a great risk-reward trade where your reward exceeds, oftentimes by a factor of 3 or 4, your risk on the table. A great trade. All right, so let me switch over. A different example. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, and I think my monitor has some styling issues here. Give me 1 second. So Bitcoin has made an historical high recently. I'm sure some of you have heard about it, some of your crypto traders out there. So this is not the outright Bitcoin contract. It is the futures contract, which allows you to, to day trade Bitcoins if you, want to. And what we saw here is something super interesting. Look where price bounced off from to the upside. See what happened here? We had this upper resistance zone, which was established. Previously, we knew about the zone all the way back here. This is where the zone was established and shown on the chart. And look what happened afterwards. Price went towards the zone, bounced off. Went towards the zone, bounced off once again. Like it's impossible to penetrate. 2 beautiful bounce setups right off the bat here again. And of course, price went further down. And what I was hoping for today's talk, it didn't pan out exactly. But here we had a zone break. This support zone, this was a former support zone, was eventually broken. And remember when I said in the beginning, once a zone is broken, like this support zone here, this zone will then become resistance. So I was hoping for this talk that price would come a bit closer to the zone, because what typically is happening then, because this zone is now acting as resistance, price will bounce off from it. We had it a little bit, so price went near and bounced off, but oftentimes you even see it come closer than this. And you can engage here into a nice short trade, because this support zone here now acts as resistance. If you scroll back a little bit, we can see, you'll see here, what's going on the price chart, we can see that we have some interesting additional indications on the chart. Let's focus on, just go here, on this one here. Do you see this little arrow here? That's a zone break signal, something you can scan for with MotiveWave. Remember, once a zone is broken, oftentimes we do see a very nice follow through. So here the zone was broken. You can see price very nicely went up, making an all-time high for Bitcoin. All right, look at these events down here. You see these little shaded areas? These ones here, 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 and here. These are what we call liquidity captures. An event where price is approaching a zone, in this case, a resistance zone, but not being able to penetrate it. And if this is accompanied by excess volume, we call this a liquidity capture. Price went into the zone and bounced off from it. Went into the zone, bounced off from it over and over again. Eventually it was broken. You can see it here. But typically this shows you that this zone has significance. And internally we use a magic number of 3, the rule of 3, that if this zone was approached with a liquidity capture at least 3 times, that means it's been weakened a little bit because price tried to go there 3 times in a row already. Eventually it will broken. And soon after, as you can see here, it was exceeded and price really powered through it. Beautiful. All right, let's switch gear one more time. NVIDIA. All right. Oh, what's happening here? We did have a huge wick. This might be actually a data glitch. This is NVIDIA. And we can see very nicely that, NVIDIA was in the news, I think, when was it, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when it had its big earnings announcement, and then it made subsequent all-time highs afterwards. And we can see here how the Liquidity IQ, our indicator, would have pinpointed these levels. And this is a 1-hour chart of Liquidity IQ. And this brings me to a good point. So this is a 1-hour chart. But remember in the beginning, when I told you that things become clearer once you zoom out a little bit, once you go to the higher time frame. And we have built in a feature into this indicator, which allows it to calculate these levels based on a time frame other than the chart time frame. So in this case, we are on the 1-hour chart, but we have configured the indicator, you can see it here, to use the 2-hour time frame as the reference time frame. And this is the big advantage, that you will get an analysis based on higher time frame data, yet you're looking at the smaller time frame, at the 1-hour time frame, or perhaps on the 5-minute time frame, and you can trade off that smaller time frame to time your entries. But the levels, they are established based on higher time frame data. One more example, Oxy. We had an options trade on Oxy a little bit earlier this week, which we just closed today. And another beautiful setup here, actually something that I was eyeballing yesterday. This was the market open of yesterday. Price broke above this resistance zone. And once again, resistance is becoming support. You can see it here. Price then retraced. It acted as support. And then we had a beautiful follow through based off this level. All right. And one more example. Let's have a look at FX. This is USD CAD. We are in Canada here. So let's have a look at the at this pair here. This is an FX pair. And you can see that these levels are established just as nicely for FX as well. This support level, you can see it here, where price bounced off very nicely. We knew about this level already back here. And look how beautifully it held up for this trade. This support level up, this resistance level up here, we knew about this all the way back here. And you can see how price is struggling getting through this level because it has some significance. So you can only imagine how you, as a trader, can identify some very promising setups using the knowledge of these levels. All right, so these are some of the levels that are important, but this is really only scratching the surface of what this indicator can do, because it will not only show you these levels and these important events, it will also give you concrete trade ideas. So for example, in the case of gold, let me quickly go to gold here. We had the 5-minute chart on gold here. I think my screen has a small issue here, so let me just change the colors. So this is our gold trade. Let me enable another feature here. This is gold on the 5-minute. I'm going to go to setup display and enable the setup box. So once enabled, it will show you here a little box with some information inside. And in this case, it will show you that currently the way gold has been playing out, we had this little bounce here, but this bounce happened, a while back, a couple of hours ago. Now price has retraced back into the middle of the support and resistance zone. And we call this trade the magnet zone trade because price is entrapped somewhat right in the middle between support down here and resistance up here. And what you then can do as a trader, you can make an educated bet as to which zone, whether down here to support or back up here to resistance, price will go next. And we have some methods to do this. But one easy way to do it is to do a short-term trend analysis. And it doesn't take much rocket science, but if I look at the short-term trend here, you probably would agree with me that it's facing downwards. It's bearish. It's a bearish trend. Because of this, because I know my sentiment, my short-term sentiment is bearish, I would make the educated bet that price, even though we had this bounce here, will next reapproach the support zone down here. And I can formulate my trades around this. And the indicator will actually tell you, okay, if we were to take a short trade, it would tell you, okay, if you were to take this short trade, your stop or your target for the short trade should be around 2,157, this level here down here. Your stop would be all the way up here because that's the nearby resistance zone, and your risk reward was 0.45. Not the greatest risk reward, so I probably would shy away from this trade because my stop would be fairly far away, but at least you can see this right away once applied to the chart. All right, let me show you another example. Oxy, back to my Oxy chart here. And let me also enable the setup box. All right, applying it. Update, it will once again show me a little box here. It will tell me currently we are in a long breakout situation where this resistance zone was broken. Afterwards, it held as price retraced, and now price has been blasting off since then. So we are still in this long breakout setup. So the indicator will basically tell you, okay, what are we looking at? What is going on my chart? It will give you a story about this chart. So you are in a long breakout scenario. Whether you want to enter into this trade into the long direction, that's a different story because that move has already happened to some extent. That's something that you can decide on. Because if you were to enter into this trade, you would have to put your stop all the way down here, which is fairly far away. So maybe not the best risk reward in that case. One more example. Let's have a look at Apple. Before I do this, I want to switch very quickly back to my slides because there's one more thing I need to explain to you. So back to my slides real quick. So now that you know a little bit how a Liquidity IQ is working, and once again, this is only scratching the surface. We have developed an additional indicator, which is called Emi Rush. And as it turns out, it is the perfect complement to Liquidity IQ because it will allow you to filter your potential trades and to focus only on the ones which are in alignment of what Emi Rush is telling you. What Emi Rush really does is it will show you directly on the price chart whether my current momentum is either bearish, you can see here in this area of price, or bullish. And it does this by performing what we call a multi-time frame analysis. And how this works, I'd like to quickly show you now. And then we're going to put these two indicators together. So back to the price chart, I'm going to go to Apple. And here, and this is a glitch here, this is a data glitch. I'm not sure what happened here. But this is Emi Rush applied to the chart. And once applied, let me just scroll down a little bit here. Oh, there we go. So see this data glitch went away because price reloaded. We can see it prints out these big labels on the chart. Bearish or bullish. And we can see currently, for example, Apple, this is Apple on the 5-minute chart, is in a bullish momentum state because this label happened here and we're still bullish. Back here, it was bearish, then bullish before, then bearish, then bullish. And as you can see, these labels are actually quite precise just by themselves. This is possible because of the multi-time frame analysis that Emi Rush is performing. It requires multiple levels from higher time frames to come together for a momentum shift to occur. This prevents the indicator from having these, these signals alternate very quickly, which is not ideal for any trading. They will actually persist for quite some time. If you look at the levels here we had a bearish case which lasted all the way down here, then bullish, price went up a little bit, then bearish, which lasted for quite some time, a couple of days, maybe even weeks, then a very short bullish phase, a nice bearish phase with a huge follow through, and now we are in a bullish state again. So this indicator can be traded just by itself, standalone, no problem, just by following these signals. And we've actually back tested this a while back, and you can get a very nice performance just by looking at these labels and trading accordingly. But the way we suggest to use this indicator indeed is to combine it with Liquidity IQ. Let me give you an example. So I'm going to reapply Liquidity IQ to this chart. All right, I'm going to configure it, and we can see here, and price has moved a little bit since this morning. This is the 5-minute chart. We can see here that at least when I looked at this chart about an hour ago when I was preparing for this webinar, we were around here, this area, right in the middle. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. Right in the middle between support and resistance. Once again, this is a magnet zone trade setup at this point because we're right in the middle. Now, our educated bet would have been that price will either go towards resistance or towards support. And in order to figure out to which level it will go next, we can either do a short-term trend analysis manually, or much better, we can follow what Emi Rush is telling us. This is Emi Rush. It told us back here that we are bullish. This is our sentiment. We are still bullish. And because of this, we do have a bias that price, at this point at least, will go first towards the resistance zone, towards the upside, instead of going towards the downside, towards support. And look how this worked out nicely. So it went towards resistance, then bounced off. This is a beautiful bounce trade towards the middle. Now, again, it went towards this resistance zone. And actually what our statistics box here tells us, we are currently in a short bounce scenario where price may once again bounce off from this resistance zone towards the middle, and you can trade accordingly. All right, so a few more examples. Gilt. Oh, let me just quickly once again change my screen settings. Apologies for this. All right, there we go. Okay, so once again, what do we have here? All right, so here, let me just quickly reconfigure these levels. Just give me 1 second, just to make this a little bit easier to read. So what do we have here? Gilt on the 5-minute chart. Look at these levels. Price went down here towards this broken resistance level, which now acts as support. It bounced off from it. It then went up to this new resistance level with some liquidity captures around this area. And what a bounce we had. Then it went down towards the support zone and bounced off. And now it's bouncing again. So you can see how significant these levels can be. And you know what? I mentioned Emi Rush before. If you combine Emi Rush information, currently it's bullish, with what you see on the chart based on what Liquidity IQ is showing you, you can further increase your chances. We have bullish momentum. Price approached this support zone here. A bounce is quite likely because, a bullish bounce is likely because Emi Rush at the same time is bullish as well. And one more example, EA. And let me just reload this real quick because we have this little glitch here, data glitch. Just going back a little bit, asking MotiveWave to reload the data. I can see it here, the data is it's still there, but we can see here once again how well these levels, and this, don't look at this wick here, that's false data. How well these levels have held up. Price approached the resistance level up here, then bounced back to the support level, couldn't penetrate it, bounced then off it, and now towards the middle of the zone. Beautiful. And one more example, Intel here. Same example, we do have these beautiful levels holding up. And if combined with Emi Rush, Emi Rush is bullish right now, you can really magnify your chances because you're basically combining information from multiple sources from our Emi Rush indicator, which will show you what is the current momentum direction with what you see on the chart to formulate these trades. All right, so let me go back to my slides real quick and yeah, talk a little bit about Emi Rush. So Emi Rush will show you these levels on the chart, as we've seen here, as these whether momentum is bearish or bullish. And the beautiful thing about Emi Rush is it works out of the box. There's basically zero configuration that you need to do. All you need to do really is to apply it to the chart, and it will show you what is the current momentum direction, and you can trade accordingly. And we believe that Emi Rush, when combined with our Liquidity IQ indicator, it's really the true dynamic duo because they complement each other so nicely. And if you take advantage of what both indicators bring to the table, you will see that they will do most of the heavy lifting, most of the work for you. They will do all the technical analysis for you. And therefore, you are able to focus on what is really important, which is pulling the final trigger to enter into a trade or perhaps to exit from a trade. This is exactly what you want to have as a trader, where you have a fully clear mind. Everything has been, laid out for you, and all what you need to do is to make that final decision. So you don't waste your mental energy on, drawing these levels or figuring out where these levels are, figuring out what is my current momentum. All you need to do is to make that final decision. And this is what I meant in the very beginning when I said trading should be simple. And trading can be simple if you use the right tools. All right. Now, I want to say one thing. I said in the beginning that we love MotiveWave. I think the team is amazing. The platform is awesome. And it is the first platform that we program for. So our indicators, they are really built for MotiveWave. And they are optimized for MotiveWave. And what you get is you get very clear visuals without any repainting. Not sure if this question was asked previously, but our indicators do not repaint. What you see on the chart is exactly what will always be on the chart. It will not change. These levels are not drawn after the fact. They are drawn as soon as they are detected, and then they will not change. For MotiveWave, we have these real-time statistics box, which will show you which trade setup is currently in play and what could be a potential stop loss and my target. Once again, it will do most of the heavy lifting for you. It will also work very nicely with our strategy builder. I'm sure some of you have used our strategy builder before. So if you're wondering if this is compatible, the answer is absolutely yes. And now perhaps to the most important part. Our indicators, they work beautifully with the MotiveWave scanner. All right, so what does that mean? Well, you can actually scan for potential trade setups. For example, for the bounce trade, which I've mentioned a few times, or for our magnet zone trade, or for a retracement trade, we have predefined scan queries for all these setups. And here's an example of that. This is the MotiveWave scanner. Loaded up, where we scanned, I think, through 164 symbols, mostly stocks on the smaller time frame, to identify those stocks, those symbols, which are currently having a magnet zone trade in this example. But you can scan for anything. That's just one example. And in fact, what you can do, you can combine things. You can say, okay, I want to scan for a magnet zone setup where my risk reward is above a certain level, maybe above 1.5, and perhaps Emi Rush is also bullish. You can just put these things together into the scanner, and the scanner will, it will run for a couple of minutes, maybe even 10, 15 minutes, and it will then show you all these stocks which are currently in that setup. Once again, this is all about using tools, leveraging tools to do the heavy lifting for you. So you as a trader can focus on the essential parts. All right. Now, I've talked about MotiveWave, and we do love MotiveWave. It's a great, fantastic platform. And Liquidity IQ and Emi Rush, they work beautifully for MotiveWave. But just to give you the full context, they are also available for other platforms such as TradingView, Thinkorswim, MT4, MT5, and NinjaTrader. So we're not only restricted to MotiveWave, although MotiveWave is one of our preferred platforms and we absolutely recommend it. All right, now having this said, before we get to the Q&A, I do have, as a thank you, a special offer prepared for you. So if you're intrigued by our Liquidity IQ indicator, you can get it today as a thank you for attending this webinar for $997. This is for life. There's no recurring fee. There's no follow-up fee. There's no maintenance fee. You will get this indicator for life. It's yours to use forever. Updates are included as well, should we release them. Now, to be even more grateful to everyone who attended today, we are adding in to this offer 6 bonuses. Bonus number 1 is the Emi Rush indicator, which I've mentioned previously, worth $297. Bonus number 2 is an exclusive invitation to our next live trading workshop, where we will use Emi Rush and Liquidity IQ to trade our own live account. I'm going to show you how we use it to day trade our account, which setups we're looking for, how we scan for it, how we qualify a setup or disqualify a setup. We're using our own money, putting on live trades. It's not a demo account, it's a real money account. And you will be invited to this exclusive workshop. It is scheduled for April 3rd. You will also be invited to our members only trading sessions. These are happening every single week on Tuesdays at noon Eastern time. Of course, they're all recorded should you not make it, no problem. Just these alone have a subscription fee of $997 per year, but you will be invited to these sessions if you take advantage of our Liquidity IQ Super Package. All you need to do for this is to go to this URL, tradingindicators.com/zone. And Niklas Ahoma, please put this URL into the chat if you can. So if you want to take advantage of this, simply go here. And we're going to even sweeten the deal a bit further. You're going to get our ebook on how to make trades with Emi Rush. As I mentioned before, it can be used as its own trading system as well, not just as a complement to Liquidity IQ. So you get this, and you will get 2 video guides on 2 concrete trading setups that we have prepared for you. So a total value of $2,700, today only $997. And of course, it is limited to the first few buyers because we need to keep our member sessions to a reasonable amount because we want to keep those personal. It should be an outlet for you where you can ask questions, where you can learn tips and tricks, where you can have your needs catered to. And for that reason, we need to keep them to a certain amount. All right. Before we get to the Q&A, real quick, what is also included? So Liquidity IQ, we already discussed it. You're going to get this indicator for life, which will show you all these important levels and these important events on the chart. You will also get Emi Rush, the indicator which I mentioned previously as well, and these 6 bonus offers. So all you need to do is to go to tradingindicators.com/zone. All right. Now, think about it. This is a limited offer. So if you want to take advantage of this, now is the time. And of course, we do offer a money-back guarantee should you not be 100% satisfied with this offer.
And Daniel.
Yes.
Maybe could you please try to post it into the chat? I think I'm not able to post to everyone the link.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I was just talking to Niklas that I just posted the link into the chat. So you should be able to see it right now. It's tradingindicators.com/zone. All right, guys. So now, if you want to take advantage of this offer, now is the time. And in the meantime, are there any questions, guys? Niklas or Omar, did you see anything come in?
Yeah, Daniel, I have a question right here from Michael. He wants to know, and this was asked before as well. So everything you spoke about, the zone breaks, the triangular signals, and the liquidity captures, that's all included in this.
That's
correct?
right. This indicator comes fully loaded. You're going to get everything I've shown you today, And even more, I was only able to even just touch the surface of all these options in our Liquidity IQ indicator. As you'll see, there are many options. I could only cover a few of them, but if you join us, if you join our community, you will learn about all these options, about tips and tricks, about how to configure the indicator in a certain way so you can maximize your chances in our exclusive members only sessions every Tuesday at noon Eastern. So we always have a different topic for these sessions. Sometimes it's, how to optimize our indicator for MotiveWave. Sometimes it's about how to scan for certain things. Sometimes it's about, how to read certain market setups, about some technical analysis techniques. So we're going to change it up a little bit, but of course, in every of these sessions, there's an extensive Q&A part in it where you can just ask your questions. It's a very personal environment, and it's a secure environment. I think your microphone is not on, Nicholas.
Thank you. So we had a couple questions of what's possible to scan for, because we saw those trade setups you were talking about. Do we have the time to take a look at what is possible, like what different setups and trades or values can be searched for with MotiveWave scans?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me quickly switch back to MotiveWave. There we go. So MotiveWave, if you are familiar with the platform, and I believe, of course, since this is a MotiveWave webinar, you are, all you need to do is to go to this scan tab here. And if you set up a new scan, let me just quickly do this up here. So you can set up a new scan. Click here to say this is a Liquidity IQ scan. All right, so then you pick, this is a study scan. You continue, you select your instruments. I'm going to make this real quick. So just a couple of instruments here. I'm actually not going to run the scan, but I'm just going to quickly have a look at what we can scan for. You will select your bar sizes or bar size that you have in mind. You continue, and then you will select the study you want to base your scan on, such as Liquidity IQ. And you can also add Emi Rush, for example, to it. And then in your options next, there are various things you can scan for. So just by selecting Liquidity IQ here and going to the variable tag, and if you scroll down here, you can, for example, scan whether we currently have resistance zone break or support zone break, whether price is in between zones, whether we have a magnet zone trade set up, whether we have a short bounce set up, a long bounce set up, whether we have a long zone break in progress, a retracement setup in progress. And you can even add in conditions such as I only want to see the setups where my risk reward is above a certain level or below a certain level, if that's what your trading style might be. So there's so many options you can do, and you can combine it as well with the Emi Rush indicator. So you can scan for all kinds of things, and then let MotiveWave do all the heavy lifting for you. All right. Anything else, Nicholas?
Yes, Daniel, we have another question here from Anand. He wants to know, is there any sort of educational materials about it, like documentation or an ebook?
Yes, so both. We do have a knowledge base on the indicator, but perhaps most importantly, you will have access to our entire library of recorded member sessions, and they're all classified and categorized. And we have, I don't forget how many, maybe 50 different videos or 40 different videos in there. They're all like about an hour long, where you can learn everything you need to learn about these indicators. So don't worry about this. And of course, you also have the chance to ask the questions live in our exclusive member session. So that's no problem at all.
And from Gene wants to know, okay, this ties in with the scanner question before. So you showed us all these different scanning setups. That's great. Balaji wants to know, right here, sorry, that's from Dan. Is there a specific type of trading approach coming on this indicator that's being advocated for? So Dan's question here, he wants to know, is there an amount of capital that the indicator specifies, to execute for trades and stuff like this?
No, not really. You can really make it your own. So if you have a small trading account, you can engage into perhaps longer term trades where you don't necessarily day trade on leverage, which you may not want to do it. So it's really something that is a personal decision, but there's no restrictions whatsoever. But of course, we do have our own personal bias of how we would like to trade the indicator of what we do. And I already give it away a little bit in this presentation where I really, really like the bounce setup. I love it because it gives you such a nearby stop loss and the upside potential is so big. It works out really nicely with my trading approach because, you know, I don't have a nervous personality really. So even if I get stopped out, of course it may happen because the stop loss is so near. So maybe you stopped out once or twice or 3 times in a row. But once you hit that trade, it really goes into the right direction. You will make up for all these smaller losses that you may have incurred. And this works well with me for my trading style because I believe that these bounces are happening. And once they happen, they can give you a very good reward risk. But perhaps for a different trading personality, you may, you know, you may be a bit more comfortable with a larger stop loss. Perhaps a magnet zone trade setup would be more worthwhile because the stop is a bit wider. You give the trade more room, and your target may not be as far away. Your risk reward may be less, but as a consequence, you will have more winners statistically, even though they may be smaller. So it's really a question of personal preference, but everything is possible. And this is the beauty about this indicator. It's not like an indicator which gives you like signals, you buy here or sell here. It gives you a story of what's going on the price chart. It gives you context, and then you can make it your own based on that.
Perfect. And from Bob would like to know, what is the financing option that's available?
The financing option, Bob, please contact me or us by email. I'm going to show you the contact information in a second, and we can discuss it. So in some cases, we did have a financing option available. It's basically to, instead of paying this one time, this payment once in one shot, you will pay it in 3 installments with a bit of interest involved. But please reach out to us, Bob, if you want to take advantage of this.
Perfect. And Barry wants to know, where do we learn more about these strategies you're mentioning, like magnet trades, breakout trades, retrace?
Yeah, so these will be covered in detail in our exclusive member sessions where you will learn all about these trade setups and more. So this is, again, just a few of them that we like to trade, but there's even more. I could only cover so much or mention so much in this presentation. You will learn about these in our upcoming sessions or in our library of videos. Once again, they're all classified and categorized. Simply go there and you can find the topic that you're interested in to learn more about it.
Perfect. And we don't have any chart requests, Daniel.
Okay. All right. So yeah, guys, if there was a question which was overlooked today, don't worry. We are very much reachable and responsive. All you need to do is to go to our homepage, tradingindicators.com, and in the top right menu, you will see a contact form. You click on it, you leave us a message, and it will go straight to either my or Nicholas or Homer's inbox, and we'll make sure to get back to every single request. If there was a question overlooked, don't be shy. Simply reach out to us. We pride ourselves on our customer service, where we really get back to everyone, sometimes too very extensively, because you know what? In the end, and I mentioned this in the beginning, we believe trading is a team activity. So our role is to provide you with the tools or equip you with the tools that will help you to make better trading decisions. But at the same time, you can take advantage of these tools, but we will also take advantage or benefit from all the feedback that we are receiving from you guys. And again, our community is very vibrant. We get so many interesting trade ideas and setups and suggestions every single week. And you know what? This is what drives us to create these innovative tools. And there's one more thing I wanted to mention is that, you know, this is a live product. We've already published a couple of updates to this indicator, and we will continue to do so. Whenever an update is available, you will be privy to this update as well for no extra charge, because you have now entered our community and you have become a lifetime member. All right, guys. Omar or Nicholas, is there anything else?
Yeah, we have a question down from Balaji. I missed it earlier. He asked, is there a trial period for any of your indicators?
So we have something very similar, in fact. So if you take advantage of our indicators for the MotiveWave platform or for NinjaTrader or TradingView or some other ones, we offer a 7-day money back guarantee. So you can try out the indicator, you can use it for 7 days without any risk. And should you not be satisfied, you are entitled for a full refund. So that's no problem whatsoever. The only exception to this, and I should mention this, is the TOS, the Think or Swim platform. And this has to do with the way the access management is handled on that platform. There we don't have that trial period, but for any other platform, we do offer a 7-day money back guarantee.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Omar, yes, would you like to take it away?
Thanks for that presentation, Daniel. It
Yeah,
was
you're
really,
welcome. It's
really
been fun.
interesting seeing how MotiveWave can, what's called, empower third parties to what's called create indicators and help traders as a byproduct. I was taking a look at the Q&A portion as well, and I did have a couple people asking about TD Ameritrade connections. So if you are still in this webinar, pretty much TD Ameritrade merged with Charles Schwab, and their API no longer is supported with MotiveWave. Our team is currently looking into ways to have an API integrated and support our pre-existing customers, and maybe even Daniel's existing customers as well. But as of now, there's no real timeline. So you guys could take a look at our connections page on motivewave.com and select a secondary connection. But aside from that, Nicholas and Daniel, is there anything else you guys wanted to cover before we wrap it up?
No, I think I've said it all. So once again, if you guys want to take advantage of this offer, now's the time. And we'll be happy to have you on board. And if you come on board, our next member session is already next Tuesday at 12 Eastern. And again, these are all recorded. So should you miss one or should you not be available, no problem. You will find them all on our Vimeo page right shortly afterwards.
And we're actually looking for ways to deliver more value to MotiveWave users, whether that's through content, through education, through better features, or through more third-party webinars. We are going to be posting this webinar over on our YouTube channel, so you can always comment down below on our YouTube comment section and make recommendations as to what you guys would like to see next. But aside from that, once again, thanks again, Daniel and your team. And
thank you.
See everybody else on the next webinar.
Have a nice day, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.